Okay, that was Todd Rundgren with I Saw the Light from the 1972 album Something Anything. This is Liverpool Community Radio, and I'm Mark Rowley, talking to the highly regarded and respected DJ, Mr. Bernard Connor. Bernie's been dancing in the studio whilst we were listening to that.
He plays everything on that, and does all the backing vocals himself. In fact, he plays everything on Something Anything. All the instruments and all the backing vocals. He's Todd Rundgren. Todd is God, man. And as soon as we all come to realise that, it's Todd's world and we just live in it, man.
Well, I must say I didn't realise that until this week, but I've found you're learning new things.
Scorching stuff, mate. Scorching stuff.
Okay, Bernie, I've read on your social media that your brother had a massive impact on you and your interest in music.
Yes.
Can you tell our listeners how and mention the type of music and songs he had you singing, dancing and strumming?
Well, we shared the bedroom when we were teenagers, and he's 4 years older than me, and he was into really obscure up-tempo soul records.
Right, okay.
Spent all his money. He had two jobs, right? Mm-hmm. And he used to stack shelves in the VG. Mm-hmm. And he used to take it then. This is danger money, this man. He used to collect the money for the Profi Czech and speak in the 1970s. I know. And because I know, And he.
How old was he at the time?
He was about 18.
Yeah.
Okay. He was 18, 19 or something. And he used to spend every single penny that he had on singles from the back of the Blues and Soul.
Okay.
Our bedroom became just jam-packed with soul singles. And I can recall it all with great relish. And when you're that age and you're sort of trying to get into your own thing, and I didn't want to feel like I was being sort of forced down a rabbit hole by my brother and his record, his taste in music. But you know what? Can't deny it. I did. Even this afternoon. This afternoon, the first record I was sort of thing of it was this sort of obscurish Northern Soul record called What Shall I Do by Frankie and the Classicals. And the thing that I thought was when he opened the door of the fridge is that it was produced by Teddy Van. Right. I can see it on the label.
Yeah.
Labels is my thing,
Okay.
Yeah, I've got at some point in the next. I've got this startling factor that I need to reveal. Really.
Okay. Bernie, you lived and grew up in Speke, and you attended St Christopher's Youth Club.
No, I didn't. Oh, St Christopher's Youth Club. Yeah, I didn't go to St Christopher's School. Or no.
No, St Christopher's Youth Club. Yeah. What are your memories and musical influences from that time?
Well, it was mid-70s. Okay. In the my mum died in 1975 when I was 13, and because we were all rabid Roman Catholics, the priest came down the house one day and said, blah, 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 blah. What about Ben? And maybe he should get outside and get out the house. Send him down the youth club, see what happens. So my sister said, get down the youth club and see what happens. So I went down the youth club and saw what happens. And basically it was girls sort of smoking and lads fighting. And I was really...
Sounds like a good youth club.
I was really attracted to the smoking girls, but not the fighting lads.
Okay.
But on a Sunday, they used to have a disco for the kids, and this giant lad called Leo Perry, he used to come by, and he used to get the last hour from about 9 o'clock till 10, and he would play funk and soul.
Right.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Wonderful, wonderful funk and soul. There's other things that they were probably playing in the nightclubs at the time, but he was playing them in a youth club in Speke, things like Kool and the Gang and the Fatback Band and what have you,
Okay.
So sort of things that would get into the lower reaches of the charts and would seem vaguely exotic to 13 and 14-year-olds in Speke, you know what I mean? And that was the big thing, and he was huge. And one of the things I loved about him was his fearlessness towards it all. Right. He just went in there. Now, we have to understand that Leo, 6'4", mixed race lad in Speke in the mid-70s, he took a pile of shit. And just for being himself, just for his dress sense, in which he had the lad had gone off the scale with the dress with the colours thing in the 70s, Right. But man, he used to turn up in St Christopher's on Sunday night with a box of 7-inch singles with his own microphone. Man, the kid had style and class, And I have to say, and people who know me from Speke will say, he was the only moment of inspiration that I ever found in all the time I lived. I left Speke when I was 19.
Okay.
But it was full of barbarians. Okay. And smoking girls.
Just on the subject of Leo, getting back to Leo, Bernie's lost touch with you, and if you're out there, if anyone knows of Leo, just
He was
steering towards Bernie because Bernie had loved him.
Revelation to me, and he was a great
again.
inspiration for being a DJ.
Okay.
I'd never really wanted to be in a band or be a musician because you have to learn how to play an instrument. But I was utterly obsessed with records from a very, very early age. I have this incredible feat that. Right, it's as yet untested, but I reckon I know that the label that every UK #1 record was released on between about 1963 and about 1990.
Wow.
I know, it's as yet untested, but we're going to test it one, we're going to put it to the test one day. Do you know what? I was listening to the Paul Gambaccini show on Radio 2 the other week, right, and he was counting down the top 20 of that week in 1971, and while I was in the kitchen drying the dishes, I knew the label that every record was on.
Oh, wow. That might have something to do with the fact that you worked in a music shop, but you didn't really work in that shop until a little bit later.
No,
but we'll come to that in a little while.
Do.
First of all, what I'd like to do, without any further ado, I'd like to play a choice of Bernie's, which is a song by Betty Wright, and the title of the song is Shura Shura.
Yeah. St. Christopher's Youth Club, 1975, man.
Here goes.
Here, go on.
Okay, that was Betty Wright with Shura Shura, and you're listening to LCR with me, Mark Rowley, and my guest in the studio, Bernie Connor. Bernie, the punk volcano erupted in 1977, though some were lucky enough to catch the rumblings in 1976. When did you first start to appreciate punk music, and which bands did you like to go and see, and where did you go?
I saw Eddie and the Hot Rods. Of all bands.
Yeah.
Actually, I went to see Dr. Feelgood when I was 14 at the stadium.
Okay.
And that was my gateway drug into all that.
Okay.
Eddie and the Hot Rods was a shoe-in. I read a review of Eddie and the Hot Rods at the Marquee.
Yeah.
In the Sounds, early in 1976. And the best thing about the review was the first couple of paragraphs were about the support band who who didn't really play much, had a haranguing match with the audience. The guitarist assaulted one of the audience, and then they got off and they were banned from the marquee.
Okay.
And it was the first time I ever saw the word Sex Pistols.
All right, okay.
I'd
forgotten about that one, but
so that was the Sex Pistols. And then I used to go into Virgin, and because I went to school in town, I used to go into Virgin in St John's Precinct and steal fanzines.
Okay.
And I discovered the Ramones on television from reading the fanzine. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember ATV?
Oh, God,
Sniffing Glue?
Yeah, Sniffing Glue.
Yeah.
Well, fanzine culture was that the Americans were so much more ahead of the game than we were at it. And but punk it sort of all happened at once.
Yeah.
John Peel, somebody said in school, someone said that, John Peel played the entire Ramones' first album last night.
Really?
And he did, in its entirety. It's only 27 minutes long or something.
Okay, yeah. And when they played it used to get faster.
Well, it does indeed, sort of punk sort of, it sort of crept up and sort of, it had the Bill Grundy episode never have happened.
Yeah.
Who knows where it would have maybe it would have just filtered out and just nothing would have happened. The Pistols would have gone on tour, released the second album, which would have been like Metal Box by Pill or something. So I used to go to Eric's. I started going to Eric's because I had association towards Probe. I was one of those kids that was always able to get into Eric's.
Yeah.
So I used to go to Eric's and watch punk bands. I went the first time I saw The Clash.
Yes.
Nick Jones was like, as far as you are away from me, I am now. My head was stuck in a speaker in a bass bin. It's like, oh, Christ.
Yeah. So, who was supporting the Clash that night? Can you remember?
Subway Sect.
Subway Sect. Okay. Yeah. Because I saw the Clash quite early on, and I think
the Slits.
I think the first time I saw them, Johnny Thunders was supporting them.
It's not true.
Not Johnny. Richard Hell.
No, that's right. That was the one.
We'll
before,
edit that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other bands that stand out from that time?
Well, generally all of them. Actually, the one that does stand out is The Damned, because The Damned were the first band I think I ever saw who were rubbish. And I was 15 years old.
Lived up to the true punk
I said
image.
this recently, is that, there was a war going on out there, and your bass player's dressed up in a tutu, man.
Yeah.
Get out of here. I have a bit of conviction as about what you were doing, and I can't... I'd see a lot of it. The great thing is that it was, as you quite rightly pointed out, it was a volcanic explosion.
Yeah.
And so somebody like me who's 15, it was all pretty exciting, I mean, you compare to what, going to see bloody Todd Rundgren and Rolling Stones at Nebworth or whatever, Yeah, go on, man, yeah.
So, what other places did you go? Eric's was obviously a popular... place to go. Where else did you go to?
Well, I didn't go anywhere. I went to Probe because I was 15.
Yeah, okay.
They'd let me into Eric's, but there was often if I went in the Grapes in Matthew Street, I'd get thrown out.
I see. Yeah.
So there was a sort of congregation. There was a place that where youngsters used to congregate in the daytime in the Armadillo Tea Room, which was where Flanagan's is on Matthew Street now, and their proprietor, Mr. Mark,